Welcome everybody to the first installment of Tricks of the Trade by the Minnesota Bash Brothers. Some of you may not know this, but me and Mar, other from being professional martial artists, are also union cement and finishers for the local 633 union.
Hence, Tricks of the Trade with Minnesota Bash Brothers, with yours truly, Marvin Blummer
And Melvin Blummer.
Awesome. So, the reason it's called Tricks of the Trade is we're going to show you some of the stuff that we like to use in martial arts with our little spin on it. Okay? First thing we're going to start with is some open guard passing. Melvin? Alright. So, we're going to work on a pretty traditional open guard pass, right? We're going to work on a leg drag pass. A lot of times when people do this, they like to explode their hips forward, right? And then pass the hand or the leg over to my opposite hand and then pass through the guard, okay? When I do it, I like to pressure in and use my hips to pass his foot to my other hand. Passing my inside knee first, looking to go right on the sternum. My other foot, when I step out, when I drop my knee down, it should pretty much touch his shoulder, okay? And that way I know I got a good base and all my weight's directly over him, okay? So one more time. Feet on the hips, hip switch, pass, knee on the sternum, foot outside, good placement. All right, so now we'll do a little bit more real time, okay? And I'm gonna pass to the mount, okay? So 1, 2, boom, slap my hands in the mat and pass it through, okay? One of my good friends, Chewy Barra, he calls it slapping the sissy. So thank you, Chewy, for that, okay? All right, one more time, okay? So one more time, feet on the hips, hip switch, pass, slap the sissy into the mounted position. All right, now from here, Melvin's gonna show you some of the things he likes to work on from here.
All right, sneak this way just a little bit. All right. So again, from that open guard position, right? Again, I press in, use that hip switch to feed that foot to my hand. Passing through, stepping next to the foot, going to the knee ride position, slap the sissy, going to mount. So as soon as I get to mount, I'm going to drop my hips down, trying to get a reaction from him to try to push me back up. As soon as he pushes me up, I'm going to take one of my hands, I'm going to put it to the center of his chest. I'm going to take my other hand, I'm going to stack over the top. Now from here, I'm going to take my weight, I'm going to start rocking it forward so I get my weight shifted over the top of my hands. Now from here, I'm going to start circling my head to his feet. As I do that, I'm going to allow my leg to swing out and go over his head. Finishing the arm bar from mount. So again, from the mounted position, I base down to get the reaction, to get him to push up. As soon as he pushes up, one hand goes to the center of the chest, other one stacks over the top. Again, I rock my weight forward so my weight shifted over the top of my hands. From here, again, I start circling my head towards his feet, allowing my head to go over the top of it, my foot to go over the top of his head. Finishing the arm bar. Okay, now from here, I start to sit back. Marvin sneaks his elbow and clears it past my hip line. Okay? From here, I'm going to switch to a bicep crusher. Okay, from here, I'm going to take my foot that's next to his hips. I'm going to push his hand out of the way, pushing my foot to the outside. I'm going to drop it down right by his elbow. From here, I'm going to post my hand. I'm going to sit up, putting his hand right in the center of my hip line, and start raising my hips forward, finishing the bicep crusher. Once again, I base out, he pushes up, I go to the arm bar, he clears his elbow as I'm sitting back. Right? As soon as he clears his elbow, I keep control of the arm, my foot that's by his hips, I'm going to come up, I'm going to push his other hand out of the way, clearing it. I'm going to drop my foot down towards his elbow on the arm that I have. From here, I'm going to post my hand behind me, I'm going to sit up, placing his hand in the center of my hips, and sitting forward, applying pressure on the bicep crusher. Okay, now sometimes when you go to sit up for this bicep crusher, my opponent will circle his hand free, clearing it away from my hips again, and now I lose the bicep crusher. So from here, we're going to go to the crucifix Americana. From here, I'm going to drive my chest weight down, pressing his shoulders back to the mat. Okay, now from here, I'm going to take my hand that's by his head. I'm going to wash his hand towards his head, pressing it to the mat. From here, I'm going to take my other hand. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to hit the key lock. From here, I'm going to drag his elbow to his hips. He's finishing the Americana. Now, once again, from the failed bicep crusher, I start setting up for the bicep crusher. He circles his hand up. I lose the bicep crusher. I instantly chest pressure down, driving his shoulders back to the mat. Okay? And the whole time I'm doing this, you can see I'm still trapping his arm with my other foot. Right? Now from here, I take my hand that's by his head, I wash his hand down towards his head. I grab my key lock. Again, start looking towards his feet, pulling his elbow to his hips. Finishing the crucifix Americana.
Alright, let's
Okay.
see it once, all the way from the top.
Alright, I'll do it all the way from the top. Alright, again, open guard, feet on hips. Switch the hips, pass the leg drag. Knee on belly. Slap the hip. Base out, he pushes up. Mounted arm bar. He clears the elbow. Push. Sit up. Bicep crusher. He circles arm out. Pressure. Americana.
Well, that's the first episode of Tricks of the Trades with Minnesota Bash Brothers. Thank you today for joining us from my basement gym instead of our school, Minnesota School of Martial Arts. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. I hope you enjoyed the techniques. We'll be coming back with some more jiu-jitsu, judo, striking, all the
Mixed
above.
martial arts.
And then eventually, once we get our YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.